How you guys doing? I want to talk about Saturday, October 29th, 2011, at the Occupy Denver protest here in Civic+Center Park or Lincoln Street Park, whatever, and the march that was scheduled for 12 o'clock noon. And I don't really know what to say. I have another video I'm going to make after this one, but for people that don't really know what the whole Occupy Wall Street thing is about, or what this Occupy Denver riot was about last night that you might have saw on the news, that I do not think got fair coverage at all when I turned in for just a brief period of time to watch it. But I'm going to show you what happened at the march first, because I went around and I had my cell phone on me and I took pictures of as many signs as I could, at least the signs that were, you know, well made, so like the text wasn't super fine and I thought it would show up on my camera because it's not really a good phone. But I'm going to show you the pictures of the signs that people are holding, just so you can get a general feeling of the crowd. Because all I want to say, first of all, is that march really felt good. It was good to see a lot of people that looked like they were conscious of what's going on. We stopped at the Federal Reserve, we stopped at the city jail, we went all up and down 17th Street, the financial sector, and we kind of, well, I don't know, we marched through all the big banks right there too. But it was good to see people that actually cared. And I want to show you the signs that people are holding up. And then I'm kind of going to show you how it started to build up into more of a hectic day when riot+police came in and whatnot, when we were at the Capitol building right in front of the steps. And I can only film like 30 seconds at a time on this phone, so like I don't know, I have more pictures than I do video, but I think this video is still going to show you that a kid with a cheap cell phone can do a better job reporting the news here in the city than the lamestream media, right?
not. Again, my name is Clarence Jones, and I have more words to speak to you, and I am a first-time author promoting my new book, registered in the Library of Congress, Democracy or Sterilization, Testimony of a Veteran. We love our best.
If those pictures don't really show it clearly, what happened was we marched peacefully from the park where we left, down Colfax, past the jail, down like, I don't even know what we came in, 15th Street or something, over towards the Federal Reserve. Or we cut in on the 16th Street Mall, and then we cut over to 17th Street, came all the way back on Broadway. We walked across the Lincoln Street Park right there, up the steps of the Capitol, and it was all peaceful. Everyone carried their signs, there was no problems. I won't say it wasn't angry. On 17th Street, a lot of protesters were just flipping off the buildings, like the banks as we were going by. There was a few people that had their faces covered. The anarchists that were there were carrying a boombox and dancing, and I will say they were kind of antagonizing the police, but they really weren't doing much more than kind of dancing nearby the police and just acting goofy and wild with their faces covered up. Like, I mean, had there not been a march and a bunch of other peaceful people, they might have been blocking traffic and the police probably would have came and arrested them, or I don't know what would have happened, but they were walking, they were dancing, they didn't hit anybody, they didn't spray anybody with mace or anything. Like, I can't say they were violent. But what happened is we get to the steps of the Capitol, and there's a few Colorado State Patrol, whatever, across the steps, like 4 or 5 at first, and we all kind of gathered there. And at first, people were kind of going up a couple steps, and I think they were kind of like, get down, you can't come on the steps. And more people got there, and they just kept bringing in more and more riot police on both sides. They had motorcycle cops, riot police, and like they're sitting there with their fucking weapons, all sorts of fucking shotguns or, you know, like the orange-handled weapons. I have a few pictures of them that, like, you know, are non-lethal, and they feel comfortable shooting into a crowd of peaceful protesters. But during this time, people were kind of chanting, you know, go home, take your guns away, blah, blah, blah. I walked up to one of the cops on a motorcycle, and I asked him, what are you doing with that gas mask? Because he's just sitting there, you know, tinkering with the gas mask, and there's cops with, like, tear gas grenades. And you know, it's like, it was intimidating to me to the point where it's like, are you guys trying to imply that you're going to shoot tear gas at us? He didn't give me any answer. And, you know, I can only record, you know, less than 30 seconds at a time on my phone. So I got that on tape. I turned and walk around. I start walking away. He says something. I turn around. I was like, what? He's like, you'll see what it's for. After I wasn't filming him. I just want to point out, like, this dude's childish. He actually threatened me later on, and I'm going to make a separate movie about that because that's different. But the point I want to point out is these people protesting were peaceful. Now, were the riot police all at the Capitol steps trying to keep people off the fucking steps, which I don't think anybody wanted to go onto the steps really too much anyway. Maybe a few people wouldn't have minded, you know, standing up. Like, if I'm going to try to address the whole crowd, if we're going to do the people's mic, it's probably a good idea to let them climb up, you know, 10 steps there so that they kind of are up on a little stage, or, you know, so they can be seen by the crowd. I think that's all people wanted to do. And I will say that the cops could have very easily backed up to the fucking doors of the building, let people be on the steps, because any other day you can be on the steps. Like, I could go over there right now and take my picture on the steps of the Capitol building. But they made that arbitrary decision that no one's coming on the steps. And they started to flank us with riot police who are wearing, you know, I don't know if they had masks on at that point. They had their guns out, and it was threatening, and I didn't like it. I'll say that. During this time, I'll show you, kids over at Civic Center started setting up tents because the police were all surrounding this crowd like we were somehow violent and dangerous, and they forgot that their #1 job, whatever responsibility, is to keep people from camping or putting a tent up, or a tent with a sign on it, like whatever. Anyway, they set up a bunch of tents down there, 5, 6, it was probably like 10 tents that got set up in the park. Then people decide we're leaving the Capitol. They're surrounding us with riot police up here, we're marching back over to the park. And you know what? That was kind of a showing, like, hey, we're not here to trash the Capitol building, we're not breaking down the door. We're going to walk away from the riot police, again, because we're here peacefully, and Hickenlooper can't understand that. But here's some kids setting up tents.
She's on it! And she's on it! She acts like a nag, I don't know how it started.
We are unarmed American civilians. You swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. Remember? foreign and domestic. We are not domestic here. We are the American people upholding our constitutional rights. I am asking you to refuse unconstitutional orders. Stomp out our constitutional freedom.
What's the gas mask for?
Given to us by God, not a person. Given to us by God, not a man. We pay for your helmet. We pay for your military guns.
There's no confusion in her conclusion. She wants to waste my time, and that's no delusion. Her final decision is perfection and precision. She's grade A class, #1.
I was there filming when the police came in to the park, the Civic Center Park, on the opposite side from where most of the tents were set up. They brought a whole bunch of riot police, and at this point they had their face masks on. And I was there as they started to take down the first tent. And I filmed a little bit of what happened before all hell broke loose. And it doesn't really show too much, but I'm going to show you what I have just because it's just a few seconds of video evidence that I have. But I'm just going to say, there's one kid who's right in front of a cop giving him the bird, and off to the side they're taking the tent down, and there's this girl there too, and she's all just dancing right next to the police line because that's what these anarchists are. I don't know if they're anarchists, but to me they had their faces covered, and that's what I'm calling them for the sake of this video. They were there, and it was kind of like they wanted to confront the riot police, but they weren't there like, let's fight. They weren't really hitting them. Like, this girl's dancing with a boombox right there. Like, that to me is pretty peaceful still. But the one thing I want to point out, notice how the guy in charge, the cop who's not wearing a fucking face mask or any of the fucking riot shit, he feels completely comfortable being around these fucking hippies, is what I'm going to call them right now, because that's what they were for the most part, pacifists, people that didn't want to fight the police. He didn't need to wear his face guard or any of that shit, and he's sitting there telling all these other cops what to do who are right next to him, and all these other cops have their fucking riot gear on. That is inciting fucking the crowd. That's getting all these anarchists like, oh, let's go over and dance in front of the fucking riot police. Like, that wouldn't be happening if he played his cards a lot better. And if I was the chief of police in this city, I would have sent like 5 officers in wearing plain clothes to go take down the tents. And they would have walked up one at a time and said, you know, are you going to take this or am I going to take it down? Taking it down, throwing it in a pickup truck or get it out of there, throw it in a dumpster someplace. That's the end of it. And then if you have kids, you know, getting in your way, actually causing violence or whatever, just arrest them. Like when this kid's giving the cop the bird, I think that's within his right to do, but I mean his hand was pretty close to the cop's face, and in that stressful situation, if the cop wanted to just reach out and grab his hand, put him in handcuffs and take him away, I mean the kid was asking for it straight up. But that's not what happened, and it ended up that they have this whole line of fucking riot police that want to come and march across, and they don't really say the park's closed, they're just there intimidating people, and all hell broke loose. You can see it, I'm sure other people filmed it better than I did. I didn't see too many fucking mainstream media people down there filming it, but that's a different topic. Anyway, that's all I want to say in this video. I'm going to make a separate video about that cop threatening me and, you know, being a childish prick. Like, oh, you'll see what this gas mask is for, but not having the balls to say it on the camera. Like, that is some pathetic shit. I did not think that the officers in this city were that childish. I probably shouldn't refer to that as vaguely as all hell broke loose. This is the one other thing I want to say. So after they, taking the tent away, there was a big crowd of people, and I was a few people back, and it was almost, I'm going to describe it like a mosh pit, because it's to the point where it's so crowded where like the crowd just turns and rushes because the police start running at them or trying to grab a kid or whatever. People are falling over. It was just a clusterfuck of a bad situation, and like, it shouldn't have come to that, but I didn't see, because this is what I saw, and I didn't see the motorcycle or the kid that somebody pushed a cop on a motorcycle is what the police are claiming, and I heard the kid is claiming that the police ran over his foot, and that's kind of why he touched the bike or whatever. I have a few questions because I didn't see any of this, but to me, I'm just going to tell you, that's what I saw. I saw the tent, and after that, pretty soon they were trying to arrest a kid, and like a few cops, the riot police too, ran into the crowd kind of, and just kids all were backing up, and it made kids get pushed around, and it was a clusterfuck. It was bad, but you can't really see what's going on in this mess, right? Next thing I know, like across the crowd, you can't really see, but it was just stressful. Pshow, 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 pshow. You can hear them shooting the pepper bullets at people. And, before you know it, we're all there coughing. And then there's police, too, right by the side that don't even have their fucking masks on or anything. So they're coughing with us, too. And we're just standing on the sidewalk like, yeah, I'm not a part of this fucking clusterfuck now that I backed away from it. And, like, the police are still just sitting here like, it was bad. They should have arrested the people that were instigating the shit if they really were. And that should have been the end of it. But here's my questions. Why were they driving motorcycles through a crowded park that wasn't closed? The police could have walked in and they could have arrested these unarmed hippies. It wasn't like we were here to fight you. Come on, like you guys are a bunch of meatheads anyway. Would it really be too hard for you to restrain a couple hippies? Like how many cops does it take to tackle a hippie? What were you trying to accomplish riding your motorcycle through the fucking park? Was the park closed? Because I never heard an announcement. Like, what did you even guys want? It should have been like, the park has been closed again by order of Mayor Hancock or something. There was no order. You need to evacuate. You need to go over there. It's just, we're going to stand here and intimidate you, waiting for something to happen, because the way it looks to me, Hickenlooper wants this shit to turn violent. Like well, I'm not going to even go into it. It was a crazy day in Denver.